Want to know how to house hack? Your own vacation rental while someone else is paying your mortgage?
Hi, we're Andy.
And Ruthie.
7 years ago, I was a waiter at a restaurant and we were close to $90,000 in debt.
Now, we run one of the top real estate teams in the country with over $100 million in annual sales.
Come journey with us as we share our epic adventures,
Our business ups and downs.
and our mediocre parenting skills.
Hey guys, want to see a magic trick? Ta-da! Welcome to our new lakefront cabin.
Andy and I kind of stumbled into house hacking. We wanted to buy our first house when we had a little bit of money to buy a house. We just really could not afford anything that was decent. Kind of by accident, we went to go look at a property and right next door to it was a duplex. And Andy was like, let's just go look at this with our realtor. And I was like, no, we're not going to do this. But we went and looked at it anyway, and Andy really liked it and said, I think this would make the most sense for us is if we bought a duplex. We can actually qualify for a little bit more if we buy a multifamily property. I was absolutely against it, did not want anything to do with it. I wanted a white picket fence and all the shiny things that come with a new house. He calculated the numbers and the numbers didn't lie. And I was like, okay, this definitely makes sense. We decided our very first purchase was going to be a duplex, and little did we know that that was going to really set up our financial future and the decisions that we made for our following home purchases. When we bought the duplex, we inherited a tenant on one side. Our unit had 2 bedrooms plus a loft. Andy and I didn't have kids at that point, and we thought, why stop at just having our tenant help cover our mortgage? So we decided to look into the local international exchange programs at the local universities, and we got our very first international student from Japan named Mina. And at the time, I think it paid like $500 a month. So between our tenant and our international student, we more than covered our mortgage, and it was awesome. And ever since then, we have never not had an international student living with us. Our girls have never known anything else but people living in one of our spare bedrooms.
How many exchange students have we had live with us?
Like 35, 39, 39.
Okay, so we've had somewhere between 5 and 39 exchange students live with us. Tomorrow's gonna be a sad day.
Why?
Well, it's a happy day, but it's a sad day.
What's going on tomorrow?
We're going out to the cabin.
Oh, packing.
Packing. Well, that's definitely a sad day.
Yeah.
The good news is, 2 years ago, we bought a vacation rental,
We did.
and we vacationed the rental out of it. So we were actually headed out there to pack it up. But the great news is what do? We just sold it for a bigger and better one.
Yes. How's it going, loves?
We are, you know what? Buying a house is more fun than packing a house.
Those are all the boxes that we have to show for what feels like way too much work.
So I want to share with you 3 tips to buying a vacation rental. Tip number 1, most people, when they think Airbnb, they think one-night stays of the traveler coming through town. Vacation rental is very different. Thinking about a vacation rental, you think about big families. You think about families getting together with other families or other family members. So get a space that can host lots of people. We were looking at these tiny waterfront properties here on Anderson Island, and we were thinking, man, we have to rent this out a lot to make a decent amount of income. Instead, we bought a 5-bedroom house that could host multiple families if we threw in some bunk beds. Tip number 2, make it look sexy. If you get on Airbnb, you will see a lot of places that look like your grandmother's house, which is cool when you go to your grandmother's house. When you're renting something out, you want it to feel kind of like a hotel. It has to be a little bit more experiential. You don't have to knock down walls, but make it look sexy and have really good pictures. Number 3, become a superhost as fast as you can. Most people, when they list their Airbnb, they start really high with their rates. I would suggest starting a little bit lower till you build up a couple good reviews and then start jacking up your prices. Pay attention to holidays, pay attention attention to local events coming into town, and then check your rates constantly. Raise them on the weekends, keep them a little bit lower during the weekdays. Raise your rates at high peak times like summer and spring, and maybe lower them and advertise it more during winter and fall months. But make sure that you're constantly checking your rates.
And we made it. We just pulled up into the ferry line and time to board.
I don't like moving.
It's so beautiful.
Yes.
Tell us about this cabin.
You wanted a place to get away to, preferably something on the water. And so we came out to Anderson Island. We looked at some cute little waterfront cabins, and kind of on a whim, came across and looked at the cabin that we ended up buying.
And from starters, we're like, this is way too big. What are we gonna do with a 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot cabin on an island? This is supposed to be a convenient little quaint getaway.
And then we thought about it and thought, when people like to get away, often they do it with friends or family. And then it just sort of made sense financially. If a group of people get together and split the cost of a cabin versus renting a cabin for two, there's just significant savings.
In our first year of fully renting it out, so we bought it just in time to move in for Christmas. We spent about 25 grand remodeling it. That next year, we got our entire remodel money back, plus every penny of our mortgage payments. So in the first year of having a vacation rental,
That's not true.
She never lets me tell a good story.
We covered the remodel costs the first year. The second year, we covered way more than our mortgage.
Yeah.
Significantly, like more than double.
So this was our most profitable property that we owned this past year. But there's a big difference between an investment property and a vacation rental. When you own an investment property, you're a
Investor.
landlord.
I'm so tired.
We just spent 6 hours packing boxes. So when you own an investment property, you're a landlord.
Yeah.
You deal with a water main busting. That's about it. When you are in the vacation rental business, you're in the hospitality industry.
Totally. It's a different mindset. You're in the customer service business because you're getting a review each time somebody stays at your place.
But even a great investment property, maybe you're seeing a 7% cap rate, most likely it's 6. Well, on an
Yeah, if that.
on an Airbnb, you could be up towards to 40, 100. You could be at a 100% cap rate. Challenge is every 4 days it's been turned over. Every week, a family of 16 just partied in it like it was a vacation rental, and dealing with the constant upkeep and maintenance of the property, keeping it ready.
Yeah.
We've had numerous of our nights spoiled because someone that we rented this out to, $1,000, showed up and the place wasn't clean. So
3 times. Happened 3 times in 2 years.
3 times in 2 years. So I raced over best root beer on the block. I had a race over there 7 o'clock at night one night. We had to treat the family to dinner, and I'm scrubbing toilets, getting it ready.
Yeah, and that was truly miscommunication on my part.
How come it wasn't you scrubbing the toilets?
I was watching the kids. Wow, you're a better toilet scrubber.
So anyways, that's our kind of take